So I want to let you know that the meeting is streaming, but you're on mute.
Okay, thank you. What time is it? 5:55. Thank you, Lynn.
Okay.
They're not super.
Ms. Heather Jones, how are you?
Hello.
We're just hanging out for the next couple minutes.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, although just FYI, we are being recorded right now, just so you know.
Okay. Yeah. Be on my best behavior.
Exactly. Keep the swearing to a minimum, please. I'm gonna mute so we don't record that.
Wait till 6:01, is that okay?
Sure.
Russell usually happens to know that at 6.
Heather, we're gonna wait a minute or two more.
All right, let's call the meeting to order at 6:01. Hi, Heather. You're muted.
We still can't hear you.
Hello.
Oh,
Hi.
there you are.
I had you guys on the screen and I couldn't find my mute button.
We don't have anyone joining us today from the public to speak, so.
No, we do not.
And
You
then,
want us to introduce all?
yeah, we should. Thank you. Yeah, Shannon, go ahead. You want to say something?
Shannon Knight, member.
Geraldine, member, chair.
Steve Cooper, Community Development Director.
Darren Wise, principal planner for the city. Heather?
Heather Jones, member.
Whoa, everyone's coming in now.
Boom.
All right.
While we're at it, Shannon. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, just introduce yourself, Jan.
Oh, Shannon Eilis. I've been a member of EDC, I don't know, 7 years, 6 years. I'm live in West Linn. I'm a local realtor, like half the committee, and glad to be here.
Awesome. Russell.
Yeah, Russell, can you hear us?
Oh, yeah. I can see Russell pop
I can hear you.
on.
Russell Williams, member.
Exactly. Chris Meyer, city planner and staff liaison to EDC.
Victoria Meinig, Westland Chamber of Commerce. Christy Lons, member and secretary.
Devin Bonington, I'm a city councilor and local realtor and former planning commission member.
That's true.
And we-
Yeah,
How many realtors can we fit in this room?
Well, we tried to get another one.
We can usually have a couple more.
Yeah. You're surrounded by them, right? Jesse at home.
My husband's.
You want to buy a house?
Chris, thank you for sending out the meeting minutes all the way back to January, and they're here. We'll let a copy.
Yep.
And we're just trying to catch up on approval of the minutes and moving forward. We'll approve minutes every meeting as required. So I think we can just acknowledge that everyone's received the minutes.
Yep.
Back since January. And if there are any questions or concerns?
Yeah, so one thing, Shannon, you had some edits, but Christy also caught those same ones. And so I updated them and that's what actually printed, but not what was sent to everyone. So we got some spelling errors and West Linn was West Land. So that's been edited and changed. AI, that's an AI. Yeah. So I think we're edited and spell checked and we should be pretty good. So we're hoping that the committee will simply acknowledge that the notes are there, they exist and are generally representative of those meetings, even though some of you may not have been there. So that's what we're hoping for. And we would ask for just sort of a thumbs up from however you want to.
We'll just do a motion to approve all the minutes that Chris has provided with us all the way back to January.
I will motion to approve them, but I will say that I was not here for a lot of those months because I wasn't on the committee then.
Yep.
So I didn't actually have comment on the other ones.
Yeah.
But since you're doing them all as one,
Yeah.
I will motion.
Still a valid approval.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, all in favor of approving the minutes?
Do we need a second on that?
Yes, thank you.
Sorry.
Second.
Okay.
Done. All approved, or what did you say? All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Okay, that was Russell with an I. Okay, so I have six approved, 6 to 0, I should say. All approved.
Thank you.
Thank
Feel
you.
good. Yep.
Yeah, cleaning up.
Then you want to acknowledge for the minutes too that Rebecca joined.
Yes.
Oh, hi, Rebecca.
Sorry, trying to unmute. Hello.
Hi. Thank you for joining.
Get my share screen for you.
Rebecca, I know you had mentioned, and we have a couple minutes for public comment, even though it may or may not be spot on. But I know you mentioned that you had spent You had something you wanted to cover with the group today and some work that you did in the last month. A workshop that you went to, is that right?
Oh, yeah, both Steve Coper and I went to the OEDA, the Oregon Economic Development Association conference, and we went to a training class on the Sunday. And I think we both got quite a bit of information out of that. So it was a very, very worthwhile experience.
Anything worth sharing in just a few minutes tonight that would be good for us to hear? Since our goal is obviously to partner with you the best we can. Steve's
Yeah,
way too.
yeah, and Steve can, may have some insight as well. I tell you, the second day of the conference was also really nice because we actually kind of did a hands-on thing. And so we actually traveled around a couple of places in Newport and Lincoln City and saw some things that they had done. And so one of those things was that they had put in an urban renewal district in specific parts of Lincoln City, and then we're able to address some very specific issues with that, including rerouting traffic and just a couple different things that were really nice that they were able to do. And it also included funding for some facade grants, which allowed some individuals to purchase some buildings that were in pretty rough shape and then bring them back to life. And in one case, it went from one business being in there to 7. So anyways, there was just some really nice things. And I am going to put all my information together so that it's, kind of usable. And we'll be happy to share that out later.
Cool.
Rebecca and I went to another conference too, 3 weeks ago in Albany. Didn't we? Apparently not. I'm just making things up. It was the Main Street Conference, the Oregon Main Street Conference, which is the larger organization of all the Main Street groups. They're a part of. You gonna help me out here or what?
I am. Sorry, I'm at home and there's other people moving around, making some noise. So the Oregon Main Street Conference was held in Albany, and it was really nice. We ended up having I think we had about 60 of the 115 cities around Oregon that are part of our network that actually participated in some level. And there were just topics on pretty much anything that you can think of. And on the first day of the awards, we won the partnership award, the Outstanding Partnership Award for the state for our work with the city, mostly in regards to the streetscape, but just in general about our partnership with the city and how pretty much every department in the city partners with us in some way. And so that was really nice to be recognized by that, for that.
Great. Sounds fun. I wasn't invited.
Yeah, well, and that conference happens every 2 years. More than happy to have people come to that. A lot of other cities have everybody from, public works and planning come to that. At one point I was hanging out with the mayor of Milwaukee, just there's just all kinds of different people at different levels that attend that conference because there's just a myriad of topics that get covered. It could be something about urban renewal districts. It could be something specific about Main Street, like how to work on funding. But there's a lot of different things that come up that are city level issues that get covered there. So next time it comes around, more than happy to have people coming. And next year in April is the Heritage Conference. So the Main Street Conference swaps years every year with the Heritage Conference. And our heritage projects that we have going on in the city do tie into tourism. So it does have some relevance to this committee as well. So just if anybody's interested in going to Woodburn in April, I will bring you guys the information when it comes out.
Thanks, Rebecca.
But what kind of a campaign do we have to do to bring one of those Main Street conferences here?
We're gonna need a hotel.
Yeah, we have to have those hotels. We did actually host the a Main Street Network meeting here last April. And that was pretty nice. We had, I think we had about 50 people attend that from around the state. And so our network meetings are held once a quarter, except for when we have a conference here. Then we do them 3 times a year and then the conference.
Rebecca, are you planning on hanging out till 7 tonight?
Yeah, I am.
Cool, because I think we might have a couple questions for you later on. But Darren, thanks again for being here. I look forward to hearing about the waterfront vision project. So, take it away. Yes, sir.
All right, well, thanks for having me. I do have a somewhat short presentation. I'll go through pretty quickly and then give you all some time to ask any questions you might have. So, so the waterfront vision plan is now to the point of almost adoption by council. We've got a public hearing scheduled for the 18th of this month for council to consider adoption of the plan. So I'll get into that a little bit more here in a second, but let's see. So just wanted to start out with, so what is the waterfront vision plan? So it's the community's vision for the future. So it's been looking at new opportunities for residents and visitors. Built a key piece of economic development in the city of West Linn, the stretch of 275 acres along the river, creating revitalized areas. We've heard from the community. I've been doing this for about 10 years, the waterfront planning project, and it's been constant that access to the river and really access to the falls is what is really desired by the community. Recreation opportunities, celebrating indigenous and industrial heritage. The goals of the vision plan really was to make it a community-driven effort, balancing community interests with property owner interests, and then really doing an analysis of the area's physical, economic, and regulatory issues to come up with a realistic vision for the future of the area. What the vision plan does not do at this point in time, so we're not proposing any zoning changes or zoning code changes or comprehensive plan changes. This is just setting the vision. It doesn't change any of the transportation system plan investments or projects on it. It does not commit the city to any specific funding plan or project at this point. That will come in the next phase where we're going to go into comprehensive plan updates. We get zoning code updates, using the vision plan as the guiding document to do that work. And then there'll be a lot more community engagement with that second phase of the project. That's really where it's getting into the nuts and bolts. Chris is leading the Vision 43 project, and he's at that point now with the development code, draft development code, where it's really getting into building heights, setbacks, all of those details that property owners and developers need to know. So most of you probably are familiar with the waterfront area. So it basically stretches from the I-205 interchange down to the old Blue Heron Pond. We split it into 3 different districts back in about 2016, 2017. Historic City Hall District, Cultural Heritage District, and the Pond District. And that was because they all had unique amenities or issues that had to be resolved through this process. So we chunked it out to make it more manageable for us to figure out what was going to happen or what people wanted to see happen in the different areas. So again, been at this for quite a long time. It's basically been 2 phases of engagement. The first phase was pre-COVID. We went through a process where we set guiding principles, those planning districts, preferred transportation improvements, and preferred land uses. Here's a chart that's in the vision plan that shows all of the different meetings and events that we held. Here's some statistics from the engagement back then. Number of open houses that were well attended. We had property owner meetings throughout the course of that engagement effort to make sure that the property owners' voices were heard in balance in what we were hearing from the community. And then we went out and gave presentations to neighborhood associations and civic groups, and again, well attended. Of course, then COVID happened, so it ground us to a halt. So we stopped the engagement component of it and sort of reassessed what we wanted to do moving forward. When we came out of the COVID era, council dedicated funding so we could hire a consultant team to get the project restarted and get it to the finish line. And that entailed getting them on board and then using all of that information from that first phase of the community engagement to come with a draft vision plan. And that draft vision plan has been updated twice based on continued engagement with the community. And here you can see the engagement that happened since the draft vision plan came out. Here's some of the numbers. Again, there was a website with 3,200 visits. We had an online survey back in the spring of 2024 where 64% of the responses, they had not engaged with the plan previously. So we felt like we're reaching a new group of folks that weren't engaged in the first phase. And again, a bunch of different presentations and finally some final vision plan work sessions or workshops, sessions, open houses. There you go. This summer. And the real meat of the vision plan are the 3 districts, and there's two pages for each of the districts. The first page sort of lays it out in text, you know, what the identity and character of the district would be, the land use focus, and then potential programming in the district based on all of that feedback we've heard over the past 10 years of engaging the community. And then that led into visual representation of what could potentially result, what this could result in after zoning code updates and other technical fixes that we'll need to do our codes and other transportation plans and things. And again, this is the historic City Hall district. It entails adding a second roundabout right about where the gas station is at, rerouting the street through the mill parking lot below the homes that are up there on Willamette Falls Drive, and connecting back up. We feel this is in the community supported this being the highest dense use area of the waterfront planning area. It does have the best access of the three areas. It will have its challenges for sure, and it's, you know, somewhat the most flat and readily available plan for development. So I feel like we've always felt like this would be the first one to probably see something happen in a district. The cultural heritage district is really focused around Moore's Island in the former mill buildings and property, the PGE power plant facility. Again, this is the text layout of the identity and character. It is focused on celebrating both indigenous heritage and the industrial heritage of the area. You know, we do have folks that are interested in creating public access out to the falls, the intertribal access project. So that could be a huge benefit to this district. Again, you know, the mill is now out of operation, so the site is somewhat empty outside of the PGE power plant. So again, this next phase will really dive deep into what the zoning of that area should be, who has control of the property, and what they want to see happen. And again, the visual representation, again, this one has a lot of access issues. There's only one small access onto the mill property, 10-foot wide bridge at this point. So if anything big were to happen on the island, that would be one of the challenges, is figuring out how to get people on and off the island safely, and emergency services if they would need to be called down there. Then the final one is the pond district. There's two old settling ponds down in this district. One PGE still controls. It was the one that the West Linn mill utilized up until June of this year. The other one is the old Blue Heron Pond, which was from the mill across in Oregon City. It is now under private ownership. So again, it's got some potential for development. Whether or not it will ever happen, we don't know. But that's again something that we'll work through on this phase, is whether the current zoning on the properties down in that area are what people want to see happen, or if the zone changes are going to be necessary. Here's the visual representation. This district had a lot of the attention as we went through the planning commission work sessions, the planning commission hearing, and the council work sessions. A lot of it revolves around this area here. So council asked us to modify that area. So we've added a 1996 flood line, which is more accurate for the actual flood elevation, and shrunk the developable area, removed some of the text about medium density residential, and cleaned it up a bit to address some of the concerns with the community. So this map is updated, and again, what council will adopt is the updated version of it. We're going to get going back to them on November 18th for a public hearing. So if anyone wants to participate, you're welcome to attend and participate in that hearing. So along with the vision plan itself, there are three appendices. There's a policy regulatory memo, sort of outlines what the next steps for the city would be as far as the comprehensive plan and zoning, and what we would want to consider in order to implement this vision. Transportation system plan update needs, and then an implementation and financing strategy, really focused on early wins and then getting ready, which is that zoning code changes, and then figuring out how to fund and build priority projects. So this will all get adopted as part of the vision plan appendices. So the project did have a working group that was appointed by council. The working group worked through all of these different versions of the vision plan and the appendices. They made a recommendation to council back in the summer to move it forward with some considerations around affordable housing, which council was asked the project team to incorporate into the document, considering smart growth concepts, just making a statement that access is a critical component of the project, and each of the different districts again have their own access issues or challenges or opportunities. Considering including stronger language for the reuse of existing structures. There's the historic folks in town want us to have stronger language in the plan around repurposing and reusing the old mill buildings. So council asked us to come up with some language around encouraging that reuse of the existing structures. So again, that will be included in the final version of the plan that comes before them. And then they recommended providing additional time for more feedback. Again, then the Planning Commission held 2 work sessions over the course of the summer, and then a public hearing in September. And they made recommendations to council also, again, using that 96 flood elevation to better represent the actual flood elevation on the map, removing that in planning stages from that medium density residential area that I spoke to, and updating map legends. There's missing elements to the map legends. Oops. So we've held 2 work sessions with council in October. Council has taken the recommendations, taken comment from the community members again, directed staff to make a few changes based on the comments from the planning commission and the working group and what we've heard from the community at their work sessions. We've updated the plan, and we're going back again, as I said, November 18th for the public hearing. And council can make the decision on that night to adopt the vision plan, set the vision, and then move on to the next phase of zoning code and comprehensive plan work. So that's just a very, very quick overview, but happy to answer any questions.
Was slide 16 the timeline after approval? So I think there was one where it kind of laid out the next 3 years. I think it was 16. So is that kind of the what's next? I can't see the date.
This image here is the implementation financing recommendations.
Okay.
But yeah, so the intent for the city is to apply for grant funding next year, and then use that grant funding to hire a consultant to then help us through that zoning code, comprehensive plan changes to really set the framework that the property owners and development community would use to
Right.
invest in the area, along with the city's investments in infrastructure.
So an appealing zoning code to make
Yes.
it, exactly, kind of develop.
Yeah, so a lot of it is zoned industrial right now. So we've heard from the community that there's more of an interest in more mixed use development, some housing, especially in the historic city hall district, housing and service related restaurants, that type of use. So. And the property owner at this point in time of the Old Mill parking lot seems interested in developing the property. So they're just waiting for us to get through this change.
I think I would add that the most important part to me is restoring access to the public in some form. There's nearly 12,000 documented years of human habitation around there, potentially more, we don't know. And I don't know, have any of you been up close anytime recently? Because I sure haven't. I went through the locks in 5th grade, but that's about it.
I did walk but
Yeah,
it was probably still.
so I just feel like a natural wonder like that, the first or second largest waterfall in the country, depending on what you consider Niagara Falls to be. It needs to be something public can access. So I think that part will be incredibly cool to see take shape over the next 5 to 10 years.
I saw actually for both sides, so the views from the west side.
Is that why you think?
Just the angle here.
Thanks, Darren. Questions or thoughts?
I know there was a lot of, public concern over those ponds areas. I was just reviewing an email that's make sure everything was addressed in there. But I think all those changes that council asked to be made were all addressed on that. So, I think there's still some big concern about the environmental issues, the ponds and the wetlands in there, and make sure they're protected and stuff like that. It's probably the biggest thing. What do you think the process is going to be going through? I know this doesn't include zoning, but that would be the next phase of implementation, right?
Right.
So is going to be priority kind of given to more of the waterfront district on that, or are you doing it all at once, or?
Yeah, we would do all 3 districts. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, or are you going to take them each separately?
No, we would approach all 3 districts. For sure. Yeah, we want to make it a cohesive waterfront.
I think the key nuance I noticed about the opposition to the inclusion of that one zone in the pond district as developable is it's not necessarily something that will be covered within the scope of the vision plan to declare that all of a sudden something that couldn't be developed or not. It's currently developable under the code. Whether something will get approved or not, that's a different question altogether.
Right. I
So,
mean,
it's on the map.
yes and
but that
no.
doesn't mean
I agree and
anything.
disagree, just because I've seen this stuff happen. Things like the TSP, like you think this is just kind of a guiding principles, and then when someone does an application, oh, it's in this, so it must be true. That's the concern I think that you see the citizens have, because they've been through that before, where we're told this is just the visioning process and it's not code yet or anything, but then somehow it's used to develop the code, right? And then the code develops, well, it says it's this and this, the visioning plan, so that's how we have to do this. I think that's the concern,
What's the TSP?
the transportation system.
Okay. So there wasn't transparency you heard in that, is what we're saying?
No, not that there wasn't transparency. But I think when things like the planning commission approved it, they were approving it more as a, this is what we would like to see,
Right.
more of a visioning thing, and then it becomes like the roundabouts, where that came from, where it became like, well, no, the roundabouts were in the TSP, so now they have to be built. And then I think there was confusion that planning commission didn't realize that approving in the TSP meant it was law now or whatever.
Sure.
So.
Sure. Okay, that makes sense. I'm for it just because I want the other roundabout in
See, and like that's the thing is like the roundabouts cause such an issue, but I'm like I like the roundabout. I don't know why there's a problem with the roundabouts, but I'm just saying what other people say.
5 to 10 years though, huh? Probably. Is that how long, that's what I think you said as far as just implementation of the whole thing, once it's approved. At 5 to 10 years probably before we start to see.
That is what I'm hearing.
Okay.
Whether that happens or not.
Yeah.
Is a different question.
Sure.
I hope it does.
No. I mean, 5 to 10 years makes sense, for sure, for something of the size like that.
Because there's also budgetary things, right? Because all of that code change and hire consultants.
Yeah.
Things, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah. You could hire staff. One more staff.
Any other thoughts for Darren? Or questions? So what's my curiosity is what's the how do people feel about it in the council and in the city? Are they excited? Are they I can't think of words right now. Are they hopeful, optimistic? How is everybody feeling about this?
I believe so. The last survey we did, the vision plan, December, January last year, had about almost 70% of the that took the survey were strongly agreed with the vision plan itself. The last open houses, Chris was there also, that we did this summer, overwhelmingly positive feedback from the community. I went to the farmers market a couple times this summer, again, mostly positive folks, positive feedback from folks. We do know there's concern around the ponds area and the environmental protection, but we have codes in place right now that require the protection of the wetlands and the wetland corridors, floodplain regulations. So
Are you referring to the wetlands that they wanted to develop into housing?
No one proposed to develop the wetlands into housing. The development was outside of the wetland. Yeah, but that application has never been submitted, so we don't know if it ever will get submitted.
Okay, but those are the same ones, the ones off of 16th. I was having trouble hearing that part, so okay, great.
But even if you develop like a little bit outside of wetlands, is there sometimes like environmental runoff, stuff like that into wetlands? Was that the concern that people
So there are many very clear rules around stormwater. Anytime a development, I'll just try to be brief about this. Anytime a development happens, they have to show that all the water coming off the impervious surfaces meets the standards before development ever happened. So the water, in theory, is getting cleaned through. You detain it and you treat it before it gets released out into the stormwater system, and it gets metered out at a certain rate that's set in. So you have to be able to, I think it's a 25-year storm, you have to develop it for it Yeah, so everything gets captured, treated, and then detained and slowly metered out into the storm system, so it doesn't just all flush out at one time. So yeah, so any development that would happen would have to follow those rules.
I feel like it's almost more of a concern that the wetlands themselves might leak onto development problems. Like the bad stuff is
Yeah.
that's the part that I don't worry about. That's what everyone's radar to figure out a solution for.
Right, because there was like a mill, right, for those ponds. Yes.
I mean, I live right there. I walk by it all the time. They're different colors.
Run off into there could maybe only help things.
Well, I love what you guys have done with the waterfront project. And the vision plan for that. I think it's fabulous. I'm excited about it. But I'm curious, like, what is the major, if you have pushback, is there any major pushback that you're seeing, like any concerns that you're seeing from people?
The major comments at the planning commission and the council were revolved around the wanting to protect the wetland area down there in the ponds district, and then the folks that want to see stronger language around reuse of existing buildings on the old mill, So those are the two major things. Yeah.
What about like traffic concerns in like the first zone,
Like by the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, as you know, it's already a snarl there. So that back in 2016, 2017, we actually had a couple of open houses around how do we fix that, and gave the community different solutions for them to look at, and they actually supported roundabout. Traffic signal won't work there because the modeling showed it would back up into downtown Oregon City in the morning because you didn't have enough room to do a slip lane. And then ODOT actually modeled the second roundabout when they were modeling the 205 expansion, and showed that it worked well, better than the current configuration of the intersection.
Do you think that'll help with traffic on the 43 where the way it gets backed up now? Or
The problem there is Oregon City.
Yeah.
Because we have like great development of new intersections and roundabouts and everything. But the second you get right in front of the elevator, there's nowhere to go. You got that light that's always blocking things. Out of our hands.
Yeah, I would say that, I mean, the feedback that I've heard is, and I also, my own experience, since I live very close to that roundabout, is it has not helped, except for the right turn lane that goes up to 43. As you come off the roundabout, you don't have to wait in the same line as the people that are going straight. And that has helped significantly all the people that need to turn. But it's still a problem. And I can see the concerns if we're developing that area, which is wonderful. I love all the plans for it, but I can see where that still needs to be addressed.
yeah. Has PGE offered their opinion?
Yes, PG has been a constant partner with us through the process. Their primary concerns are continued access to their power generation facility. So making sure that they've got access, safe access, and then security around their facility.
That's the only issue.
All right, thanks again, Darren.
Oh, I have one more question.
Go ahead.
On the TIF, I don't remember, so it's just a clarification. Does that extend all the way to the Pine District, or was it?
Yes, it encapsulates Pond District, then it goes up across down into downtown Willamette, across the freeway up to capture the commercial properties. Yeah, so it's a pretty large.
So in theory, what I care about. If the TIF contribute to the road improvements, the bike lane that we have now would be able to continue from where it ends right now all the way down.
That's all in the TIF plan.
Okay.
Yep, is the continued improvements from downtown Willamette all the way to the Arch Bridge. It's scheduled to be a one side of the road, 12 to 14-foot shared use path. And then the plan also shows the continuation of the riverfront trail, also the sort of dead ends at the pond there.
All right, great. Thank you again.
All right. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions, feel free to send them my way or send them to Chris and you can pass them along.
Thanks.
Have a good weekend.
You too. Okay. All right, there's two things in the work plan and the SWOT, which I want to talk about real quick, and then partnership with Victoria and with Rebecca. We're tasked with providing recommendations and thoughts on waterfront Vision 43 when asked. And so when we're asked, we'll obviously spend time on that. And if we have time and wanna, we will then too. I wanna, when we have free time for sure, especially on 43 personally. But I had asked everybody to think about just best ideas, any ideas, things they want to work on, things they want to talk about. And so I'll give everyone an opportunity to share anything they wanted to bring to the meeting today as it relates to that. A SWOT analysis, rather than ask if everyone knows what that is, because it's hard sometimes to admit you don't know something. I will speak personally. So just in case you don't know, it's just an analysis of our group to determine what are our strengths, where are we weak, where do we maybe lack in knowledge, expertise, and what are our opportunities as a group. Once we know what our strengths and weaknesses are, what are our opportunities to explore? What value can we add? So how should we be spending our time in an effective way? And then threats are maybe not as necessary to really dive into for our group, but that's what the analysis is.
So the SWOT, and the SWOT is the SWOT.
The SWOT is
strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
Yeah.
So the SWOT analysis is for our group
Correct.
itself, not for the economic development of the city.
Correct. Yeah, it would be good to get a good understanding, like what really can we do, right? What can we be effective at doing for real? Once we kind of know what everyone wants to do and what we're capable of. And so we may be capable of a lot more based on the strengths that we bring to the table, and that would be great, or we may have we may need to go out and get a seventh member if Alyssa doesn't come in that can help fill in the need that we've got. And so I was going to hope for some thoughts on things you maybe want to work on so we could have those in our brains for next year. And then next month in December, dive into, and I want to spend a lot of the meeting next month on our individual capabilities and skills that we bring to the table so that we can build that out and be ready to roll with that in January so that we can just add as much value as possible. So I shared really briefly just a document that I had put together. If I'm thinking about something, it's usually 43. I drive down 43 a lot. I'm always kind of disappointed, and thinking about just things that could be better, about it. And if I were moving into 43, which maybe I will, one day, and share a space with Russell.
I got one for you.
About 43 a lot. So anyway, the floor is open for anyone to share anything they've got as far as just ideas, things they want to work on, things they're interested in. I'd love to know more where your interests are. That's just background noise. Yeah.
Shannon got her hand up.
Yeah.
I think and I don't know if this fits within the EDC, but one of the things that I've noticed with small businesses is the need for training and support, bringing in workshops, especially, AI seems to be the question of the day right now. I have a networking group of women-owned businesses, and that is a huge question. And I'm just wondering, is there a way to fit that in the scope of what we're doing? Is that something, and I know there's the SBDC, but it's all the way up in Clackamas. There's nothing close by. Is there a space that can be used to bring in workshops? Is that something that we can develop on the EDC, or is that something we just need to take to the city and it's not part of what we're doing? But I just see a huge need for it.
I think that's precisely what they're asking us to work on, because that's that's the kind of stuff we would share with the chamber, with Rebecca about, and so they can add value, right, to businesses in Westland. So no, I think you're 100% on point with that. So I definitely, that needs to be and is, I think, on our agenda as far as how we can help in our partnerships. 1,000,000%.
And I would say one of the things we were working on earlier, and then we stopped, was making the process easier for small businesses to apply for a license and be supported by the city, and helping them, you know, whether it's a database that people can access or a list that goes out in a newsletter. I don't know. You know, we had talked about a bunch of different things, and then when the previous person left, it just kind of ended there. But there's, again, I'm focused on the small businesses, but large businesses can benefit from that as well.
Okay, Shannon, can I ask a follow-up question? What is it about when you mentioned support for small businesses getting licenses and things of that nature? What exactly are we talking about there? What's the issue that needs to be solved within that process?
I think the procedure, I don't know if it's changed from when we talked about it. It was kind of clunky. It was hard to find the information. And I believe Alina was working on bringing all the information together. I did try to apply for a license, and it was a little confusing. And I ended up applying for the wrong one. So you can use me as a case study.
Every time I try to renew my license, I'm like clicking 5 different links to find where I actually go.
Yeah, I had to do a search to find it. It was not easy to find. And I think there was an issue if you applied 2 months before, the renewals all took place at the same month in June.
Yeah, they're all up for in July. So if you open a business in June, you have to pay for the license again in July.
Yeah, you know, it's not prorated. Yeah. So a larger business can handle those costs, but a smaller business cannot. And I know other support is, and I know Main Street Historical Alignment does a lot of things to support those businesses, but there are businesses that have products and services that have been affected by tariffs and things that are in danger of going under. So are there ways we can support those businesses in getting the word out about them, providing events for them? I don't know. And again, Rebecca does a fantastic job with that. So, but not everything is Main Street. You know, there's all the businesses along 43 and whatever we call the Safeway. I call it the Safeway complex. I'm sure it has an official name, but so those are some of the things I would like to see worked on.
Okay, thanks, Shannon. I'll let go to Russell, but I wanted to say again, I think that that's exactly the kind of stuff that we want to talk about. So thank you. Go ahead, Russell.
I was just thinking from just like a suggestion or things that we could work on is it's kind of what Shannon was saying for supporting small businesses, but more in like as I tried to put on a seminar and invite a bunch of people to West Linn. They were coming from all over the Portland metro area. Didn't have a local meeting area. I called the library. They said I was not eligible to use the library because of the type of event. It was like a learning event for a corporate planning. They said we can't use the library, so we had to find somewhere else. We ended up going up to Clackamas to do it. So from the EDC's perspective, like bringing that kind of support where we can make suggestions to create meeting spaces for businesses.
And I agree, as someone who's constantly trying to find a meeting space for my networking group, it's not easy. And if you're doing something that's for a corporation, that's even more challenging. We used to have those. I mean, there are places you can rent.
Yeah, I thought the whole thing with the library had that whole small business center, and that was Like the whole thing is it had like meeting spaces and where you could do video and PowerPoints. So
I
like,
I've talked to them about bringing that back because they are officially a small business center, but it kind of went
Yeah.
nowhere. But
my understanding
Did you look at Robin Hood Station at all for that? They definitely have a restriction of that nature. Just in case.
But if you're a small business, $50 an hour or $75 an hour is prohibitive. A larger business can absorb those costs, but there's lots of businesses looking for free.
Thanks, Russell. Heather, do you have anything you want to mention?
On the same subject that we're talking about, I feel like it would be beneficial to have a better partnership with the chamber so that we can talk about what the small businesses are wanting for support and what they need to support and see how we can support them. I think we're missing that partnership.
Before we keep going, it's a good opportunity.
Yeah, if I can jump in. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm really excited that you have that vision of support because that's what it's going to take. Currently, I am working on a workforce development and local hiring piece. Right now, it's actually going to go across Westland and Wilsonville, but we're also going to try to attempt the some of Tiger to Wallaton because they tend to have more of the manufacturing that we do here. They have a little bit more access. So that's being looked at. Basically, we're going to be looking for partners businesses who want to partner with us, who want to either one, allow us to use their facilities to do the training and to train our employees along with others. And then also those that want to provide the opportunities for folks to go ahead and take and training. What we've learned, especially through COVID, is that there were a lot of folks that were just tossed into their positions. They actually weren't fully trained, some of them in their first positions. So they don't even understand the basics of how a new job would operate. So we're currently working on that. I've been looking in conference areas, and one of the questions I have, especially for this group, is I noticed that the town doesn't use their church facilities. Is there a reason for that?
Doesn't use their churches.
So like, I was just recently at the youth music project event, and that was in a church, and it had tons of space.
so the youth music project, you were in the actual youth music project building? Oh,
No, they took us to another building, another church down the road. I should look at the address. And it was fantastic because the room was huge. And I'm like, we could do a lot.
was it on Willamette Falls Drive still?
Was it the Lutheran
Or-
church?
Like the white church on the Willamette
It
Falls
was
Drive?
dark.
They
I will look at my thing and give you that, but I was just
Manual, maybe?
I was just surprised that here's this amazing large facility, and I'd never heard of anybody actually until I heard that I had never heard of anybody utilizing that space. So I just wasn't sure if there was a reason, like,
Because we do use it, like Main Street uses both churches on Main Street for like a holiday bar and stuff like that. So we do utilize the churches for certain things.
yeah, I just haven't seen big meetings to like,
How big are you thinking, or do you need?
typically at least 100 plus. It's typically what you want to have space for, especially so that you can divide it up. Again, it's
Yeah.
that ability to have multiple things happening, or again, just a really large crowd that wouldn't fit in the library. I mean, I love the library and we use it frequently at this point. But there's not a lot of space. If you wanted to do more than maybe 25, 30 people, there's no way, they're going to fit. And so it's just thinking about those kinds of things, even just looking at celebrations for businesses. When we bring them together, this is how we're going to celebrate their successes. These are how the things are going to bring them together. And I just haven't seen that. So I was trying to figure out, like, is there a thing about that? Or
And we've utilized the McLean houses usable right now.
I'm trying to get it back up.
Rebecca, do any of those churches on Main Street hold 100 people?
Yeah, Community of Faith does. We've held trainings there before. And you can fit probably, I mean, for training purposes, you could probably fit about 150 in the back room, and probably if you were separating out, probably 35 in the front room. So,
You've
and
done
then
them before for big events?
yeah, we've offered Google training there and another training, and we held the Oregon Network, Oregon Main Street Network meeting there, where we had people come from all over the state. So yeah.
Do you mind, can you do an introduction to them, to Victoria by chance?
Yeah, definitely.
That'd be great.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, and we have not paid them to utilize it for those types of events. We do pay them to use it for the holiday market. So because we are bringing in income for that. So that's a little bit different situation.
Great to be able to have a conversation about that. And then in regards to the business assets, one of the things that we too, when I was talking to Steve and to, John Williams originally, there is a really huge opportunity in that one, yes, to streamline it. And I want you to know, all cities have this exact same complaint. They all have how are they supposed to know where they're supposed to go? Who's supposed to know? But so there are some opportunities for us to create resources and to be able to help teach those types of things if you're interested in learning about, that kind of thing. So again, it's really simple. I mean, you have your processes. We just then teach them what they are. And so again, it's just that. And we've done it before. We've seen it happen. And so it actually does work. It just takes a little bit of time. And again, making sure that all of the business people, because that's again another thing in COVID, we learned there's a ton of businesses out there who have been in business for a really, really long time and have never had a situation. So it's not uncommon. So it's just really that getting them, and for us it was great because allowing to do grants. That was one of the things. In order for you to apply for a grant, you have to show us your business license, you have to give us your financials, that whole thing. And so we were able to start cleaning that up. So that's a huge opportunity here as well.
There's tons, we had this conversation before, there's tons of home-based businesses with no idea they need a business.
Exactly. But again, there's some opportunities with that that I would love to be able to jump in. Again, one of the things that we're going to be looking at is truly how much time we can take. So it's fantastic that you all want to take on some of these projects. We have to realistically look at the time and effort they will all take in order to be able to make them happen. But they're a portion of the plan that we currently have started. So I'm pretty ecstatic about that. We're going to also be starting to set a strategic plan for tourism, which is going to require a ton of people's input. Again, it's going to be learning more about 43, learning about this riverfront property, and again, figuring out if we truly were to be able to bring in a true tourism district, what would that look like? Who would manage it, and who would do all the marketing? Because it's not inexpensive to do tourism. That's probably one of the biggest things that hits most people is the expense for that. So.
But there's lots of grants.
Well, there were. Just have that conversation. We're hoping that the county is looking at opening a piece of tourism grant because the mountain tourism is lost. So we'll see. Again, it's what we have to keep looking at what's over the hill, what's over the horizon. Plan for it. And for good things.
Thank you, Victoria. Shannon, on Zoom, you asked, I think it was you that asked last time, do they have a business directory for all businesses or just chamber businesses? And they have both.
Well,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that.
Yeah, there's a chamber. So if they belong to the chamber, they're in the chamber directory.
So
but if they're not, and wasn't there something though that we had seems like Lena was working on that, where we had some kind of directory. I don't know where that went, of registered businesses, not necessarily chamber.
Yeah, so this is a directory that I did in Oregon City for 5 years. This has, again, it will always have the advertising, that's what pays for it. The first sections will always be the chamber if we are running it. And then what we've gone through is we've done, again, a partnership with the city, typically our downtown Oregon City Association, and then any other tourism assets that we have in the city to write and give us pictures. We also include the school district, the college, all of that in the beginning portions of it. And then like if there is a major push that's gonna happen for our city, we include those there. But in the beginning, this is all everybody in the city, and it does come off some of the business registrations, but a lot of it comes back from the folks that help us with them. They have mailing lists that help us get everybody, because they want to sell the ads. They want to talk to them about all this stuff. And so everybody is listed with their ads in this portion. And then the back portion is the ADC members of the chamber. So it's all in the same document. Then in the back, of course, it's all of the resources for the city and things like that. So and it goes out, it will depend on the producer of the magazine that we go out for bid for. But a lot of times they will do it where they mail it to each and every individual household, or they'll put it in the newspaper, depending on, again, what's. And my understanding is West Linn doesn't have a newspaper anymore, I think.
The Westland Tidings. It's so huge.
Someone told me that they're taking out all the.
The paper
They might take
still
care of
exists.
these, but the paper.
It still exists.
They've been on much longer, but as of now, I mean, as a printed ours, they did remove print editions for some of their papers as a content. And the Westland Tidings wasn't one of them so far, and they did get a new reporter in there. It did look like maybe they were going to bolt, but they did not. So they are still around.
Fantastic. Yeah. So again, it's that kind of a situation, but it does, it covers the entire city and everything that's.
Is that also available online?
Mm-hmm. Yep, they're available online. We can put the links to our website, so both Rebecca and I could have it on our website. So it's you're able to even link it to the city if the city would like it. So it makes it really easy to use. But what we found here, well, at least in Oregon City, people want it in their hands. We used to go through so many of these. We had to order pallets in addition to what got mailed, because people want something in there. So
I believe I have a Westland version, maybe 1998 or so.
Few changes, possibly.
yeah. But it is doable. It is doable.
Okay, so in the interest of time, we can still go. Shannon and Chris, you guys can share today. If you get out of here at 7:15, then it's fine. I also don't want to rush either of you on your share. So would you like to go today? Or do you want, are you okay pushing it till next month? Or do you want to share today?
Just
7:15 is fine.
no, you want us to share about.
Anything you want to add as far as things you want to be working on as a committee or for yourself?
No, I think did a good job covering everything.
That's true. Everybody up there did do a really good job. Everything, I think.
I just had like some thoughts about a couple of things. One, I heard about the Friends of Frog Ferry is working on water buses connecting Willamette, like from Portland all the way down to Oregon City, and I don't know if West Linn is going to be included in that, but we ought to be. And any way that we can kind of like partner with them, because I think that being able to travel on the river would be great. I'd love to see like all kinds of tourism on the river, like tugboat tours, or I don't know, just all kinds of kayaking and different ideas for utilizing the river, because it's an awesome resource. And I went to Duncan, BC last month, to visit my husband's aunt, and it is a super cool little town. And it's smaller than West Linn, but they have more businesses than we do, and they have lots of little businesses. And they have a lot of really cool things going on where, like, they've got a totem tour. And so it's like all these totems that were built by local artists. And then they have history and culture and art. And it's a walking tour that there's some digital map for it, but you don't even need the map because they put these little footprints painted onto the ground that you can walk and follow. And you go through and you walk past all these businesses. And it's like, oh, look, there's a chocolate shop. I'll go pop into that chocolate shop. And oh, here's a restaurant. And I just feel like something like that would, like, we're very ripe for doing something like that here. And like, I don't think it would be totems, but you know, something that would be West Linn, you know? And it wouldn't be very expensive necessarily, you know, so. Yeah. Just, I guess that was some of the things I was thinking about. Plus the stuff that they were talking about with supporting small businesses more.
When I first started UC, our liaison was a consultant that the city had hired at that time. And he was very big on using the water, but from a transportation point of view. So water, because we have all this water that we can get people off the roads on. And once the locks are open, you take a water taxi all the way to downtown. Not have to get over the
Rebecca, there were a couple, Kevin, you just,
Yeah, I've got an update about the library thing. That is not a fast no. They're open to discussing uses like that in some situations. So stay tuned.
great, thank you. You hear that? You can hear that, Russell? Okay, cool.
I've used the library a lot for my networking group, and I think they want it to be open to the public or not be obviously selling something. So it's not something where someone can make a profit. But I think there are ways around those rules, or there are enough nuances that, Russell, you should be able to use that. But
I did use it for we had the it was when Lori Chavez DeReamer was our representative. We hosted her and she came in and had a bunch of business owners come in and talk with her, and it was fine. They let us use it for that. And then I applied again to use it for just a training with other State Farm agents. And they turned me down and said no.
maybe it was because it wasn't open to the public. I do know there's a bank that has, I forget the name of it, but it has a large meeting, huge
Pacific West
table.
Bank.
Yes.
Pacific West Bank.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the ale house, especially now that they've put up more permanent walls in the back, will let you do things during the day in the back. So you just need to talk to them about what it is. And also, if it's a smaller group, there's also the fire stations. So.
Yeah, so the Trillium room at the library is becoming a makerspace. So that was previously at the room, which I think you really had like 6 people in there.
6.
So as a result, the push is going to be to kind of open up the community room, which is I think 50 people maybe, and kind of make that available for these kinds of things. Doesn't sound like there's resistance to doing that. Whereas there might have been in the past. So.
Rebecca, I was gonna, and we'll probably talk more about it next meeting or the next meeting you're at. Thank you for being here. And we don't have a lot of time today, but Shannon last time brought up creating a strategy to almost require people to pay you, to collect more money. And we want to spend some time. I think we should spend some time as a committee brainstorming that ways for you to, increase revenue.
Oh, about an EID or a BID.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's something I want, just to prepare you for that, I want us to talk through a little bit more. And also if there's ways, if there's ways for you and Victoria to partner on memberships, where people have both, is there a way to facilitate that and make that easier for people? I don't know.
Yeah, and we are, just for clarity, we are not a membership organization, unlike the chamber. So, yeah.
Yeah. Just figuring out ways to get you funds.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Which I want to have on our agenda loosely. Any staff items tonight?
I have one staff item that I'll toss out there. We have 2 members that technically will cycle off at the end of this year, the end of December. Heather and Russell, both will need to reapply. Heather, I believe you've announced that you are not reapplying. I don't want to speak for you.
Yep, no, that's correct. Yep.
Okay. So we'll have at least Heather's position open. If Russell wants to continue, as he's done multiple times, reapply to be put on by council. And then Steve and I will have a conversation about Alyssa's position after this meeting or tomorrow or next week. So we have at least one position coming available, which is Heather's, and that would be application process on our website decided by council. But maybe 2 or 3.
Russell, do you have any initial thoughts
On my
on
position,
on you staying or leaving the committee next year?
I plan to reapply
Cool.
if the council.
We've made the process more complicated.
If you're already on, you don't need to put a ton of time and energy into the reapplication. Even if you're not already on, you also don't need to write a 5,000-word dissertation. But if you're already here, don't really worry about it. I would be really surprised if we ever didn't reappoint someone. So
that's what I've got.
Thank you. Okay. All right.
I do have.
Go ahead, Shannon. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, so I just wanted to bring attention to that there's an application. It's not actually in yet, I guess. But the property across from like Park Rose, like right at the light there, and that, that there, it's zoned office business center, which means it's supposed to be commercial, but one of the allowances in the code allows it to be commercial on the bottom floor and residential on top. The proposal that's going in has an 11-acre lot with 10,000 square feet of commercial space. So if you talk about, we don't have any space for business, this is our last big parcel of stuff that's zoned for business that is potentially going to be taken away in favor of housing. And so we'll lose all this parcel of potential commercial space. Just letting people know it's a lawyer out there. Once the application's in, we can submit a testimony about it, but just giving people.
Just to clarify, the application is in? Yes.
It's incomplete at this time. They have 18 months to make, 180 days to make it complete.
You bring it up in the meeting when it's complete. When you hear about it, right? Please do.
Didn't that property have issues with Tandler Drive and having to move it because of ODOT or something?
Yeah, they're supposed to move. I mean, that's part of the project is they'll have to move Tandler.
Yeah, Tandler Drive will be rerouted to connect adjacent to the Park Rose Hardware Access Drive. So it'll be a 4-way intersection, essentially. It'll cost about $3.5 million to do that, I'm guessing. Ish.
The comment that ran kind of, I don't know if it's an EDC thing or if it's a planning commission thing, but just mentioning that like we have great schools in this city, but it doesn't seem like we do a very good job of routing traffic around the schools during pickup and drop off. And I was just thinking that from a city's perspective, like we could, if we're approving permits for new construction, then we should have like traffic considerations. Because as a business owner on like say A Street, where the high school parents park in the street all 3 blocks back, it just kind of makes it not super convenient.
I know, my business is a block from the school too. And they park in my driveway, in my parking lot of my office, pick up their kids. It's a lot of fun.
So, and I realize that's probably partially planning and everything else, but like from an economic perspective, if you're a business owner, maybe you don't want to be next to a school because there is a lack of planning. So it was kind of a thought.
I guess I would say that it should be a thing that only happens for 30 minutes once a day, or what, half the days of the year at most, and trying to expend all of the resources it would take to mitigate what that causes would almost be kind of, it wouldn't be a good thing. But at the same time, parents might do well to park occasionally. I heard we have these things called school buses, but hey, I understand. I refused to ride one myself back in the day. So.
Do you know if any of that is in the new bond that they put out?
Oh.
Structuring parking lots or anything?
No, they don't, the school doesn't care about
Damn.
it. They don't care.
Any other items from the EDC members?
Maybe next time, if you want to add a council update section.
Do you have an update?
I will.
Please.
Just
How much time do you want?
Oh, just 5 minutes.
Okay. Thank you. We went over, but it was a really good meeting. There's a lot of good stuff out there. Thank you for sharing everything. We're adjourned. Have a great evening.
You're still an hour under. That part is good.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I listened to those.